welcome back to GPSimsports. We have a pretty special race. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late. We had some streaming issues, some of you may know. But we are here at Pittsburgh International today for our race number 4. It's a beautiful day in Pittsburgh International. This is a pretty interesting course. I'm not too familiar with it, but if you could look at your top right, look at the map right here, there's lots of variety in track, so that's very good. Sir DJ Cat says he's lurking. That's very good. I asked him if he wanted to watch today, and he said he'll be lurking. So I'm going to add Mr. Lurker as a managing moderator. Alright, great. So this stream's better. I still apologize for a little bit of, how do I say it, kind of like fluffiness in the video. I haven't quite figured that out yet. Tested with different bit rates and stuff, but it is what it is as of now. You might be able to tell there's some different things going on graphically than what we've had before, so hopefully you like that. I spent quite a bit of time on it. Right now we're just going through some qualifying. Practice. I have yet to actually update the little description thing at the bottom here. So, looks like sauce is spun out. For those of you who are just joining this, these cars are a little difficult to drive properly. They're old Formula Ford cars, so they don't have good traction control, or they definitely don't have ABS. At least they wouldn't. They slide a lot. They are pretty unforgiving, and the one thing I noticed about it is that when you start to slide, you can't really pull out of it. It's kind of like you've hit that point and you're done. Game Boy was talking to me about this a little bit. He was saying that most people here, I think he said that most people here were using ABS. Well, a couple weren't using traction control for their. It might have been the other way around. I think most people are using traction control, and the majority isn't using ABS, especially those using Moza wheels. But this is going to be a pretty interesting race. Sure, DJ Cat says, "Wow, I'm a mod now." Yeah, I decided to make you a mod of all of the vigorous chatters who are just dying to screw up. No co-commentator today, just me. But hopefully I am entertaining enough. Right now looks like our fastest lap time is 2:01. Keep in mind this is practice, not qualifying. I wonder if we can look at some stats as of now. Looks like this UI doesn't have it, so that's alright. So, DJ, as far as you can tell with this stream, how is it looking? Like, is it kind of not the highest resolution? It's sitting at around 10,000 bit rate right now, because I think I was running into issues with 20,000. James Pendry off the track. For those of you who weren't here last few weeks, James Pendry was a direct competition to Sauce. In some cases he was faster, in some cases not. But what's funny is that I don't believe he has ever raced with us. And then he just hops on for the first time, and he is just faster than everybody else. That's really impressive. I don't know what he's been doing. I don't actually know if he races in real life or not. But Um, what I do know is I believe he was practicing quite a bit in Assetto Corsa campaigns and stuff to actually prepare for online racing with us. So he's been training. I'll put it like that. I know a couple of guys were actually, and then in past series they have elected to not join us because the cars are more difficult. This is a pretty difficult car still, but I'm glad to see we have more people and we're growing our group by a little bit. Right now we have 11 racers online, so that's nice. I am excited to see how James Pendry does this time, because I believe he took first place last week. I don't actually know if I updated or uploaded the results to last week's race. I'm gonna have to do that. I am gonna do that right now, actually. Alright, it is now on the GPSimsports Instagram page, and now I just need to upload it on YouTube. Alright, there we go. Apologies for not having that up. Those of you who watched already know who took first, second, third, and so on. But now it is there for all to see, and hopefully I'll get to it faster this week. Oh, it's easy one spinning out. Like I said, he just kind of just barely went over the line, and he was out. He was out. So that's even with the ABS and traction control, which I'm sure ZZ1 has one at least of those two, it's still very difficult to actually get these things turning tight without rotating. I got the strange face from DJ. I don't know exactly what that means. Probably for the spinning out. So Pendry is still in first with 2:01. Keep in mind this is still practice, so anything can change. For instance, if you look right below, Sauce is literally 0.022 seconds away from being in front of Pendry's time. It's really that close between Pendry and Sauce, which is incredible. Oh yeah, got you, DJ. You're gonna see a lot of that actually. It happens quite a bit. But I mean, it is just that close between Pendry and Sauce, which is, I think, is kind of a good thing because it has been a long time since Sauce has had like some serious, consistent competition, and now Pendry's here to give that to him, which not only is great for Sauce because he has something to do now, but also that's good for Pendry because now he's not stuck in the back. But over all of that, it's good for everybody else because it actually slows down Sauce and Pendry, and they're a little bit, like in the actual racing, it slows them down, and they are closer to the rest of the pack. Looks like we are starting qualifying now. And it looks like my thing is showing okay. It got strangely reversed, so now it was asking me to ignore the Formula Ford in order to see them. Anyway, we are now in qualifying. Everybody is on their outlap. You know, a Ford Transit's probably Formula Ford. They're both Fords. So Gunner and ZZ1 both going way off the track. Where on? Okay, so that's right here. Yeah, that makes sense. It's a pretty tight corner, so I can understand that. But hopefully in the future the practice comes a little bit more in handy than that, because, well, inevitably people are going to go off that same corner first lap of race. Hopefully not both laps of the race though. You know what? Oh, there's still somebody in pits. Who's that? Mike Kirby. Unlike him to stay in pits this long. Mike's gonna only have. Oh, is he gonna go now? He's probably having some sort of issue with his setup. He's gonna have 7.5 minutes by the time he starts going. He's revving and he's steering. Disconnected, so something's going on with Mike. Hopefully he's back in and ready to race, even if he doesn't qualify particularly well. It's still worth it. Drillin looks like he is in first place from the outlap. So keep in mind that could mean that he just got off of the line first, and that's probably what happened. It's because he has a 2:08. So this lap is really what's going to count as far as determining the outcome of this race. A little bit of a head view here. Whoa! See, that was a little bit of sliding when he was able to correct it by spinning back. Going way to the left. Okay. It was a little bit more dramatic than I would have done. A little bit more dramatic than Sauce would have done. As you can see, Sauce just passed him. Still really squirrely. Maybe Drillin's going to stay at a time of around 2:05 if he is squirrely. Let's take a look at Sauce's cockpit view and try to compare a little bit. So far, Sauce's movements are much softer, smoother, purposeful, much more connected. Let's see how it goes through this turn. Broke a little bit later than I would have. Looks like he got through that turn as he wished. Even through that tight turn, he was able to stay fairly calm. Actually, he was able to stay very calm. Not squirrely at all. Sauce now takes first place with a 2:02.19. If you remember correctly, Hendry had a looks like Sauce popped over onto an apex and spun him out. That's what I mean when I say and Drillin just slammed in the side of him as Sauce was in the middle of the track. You can't blame Drillin for that because Sauce was literally in the middle of the track trying to pull off his side. It wasn't really anybody's fault, but yeah. Let's see, if you remember correctly, Pendry had a lap time of, I believe it was a 2:01. So let's see if they can improve on this time. I like these camera angles, they're pretty fun. A little bit of sliding there, but he was able to pick it back up. And James Pendry touched grass. That's also something that is really bad in these cars. James goes right back on the track. That was probably not a good thing to do. It didn't look like he really thought about that. But James Pendry has about 3 minutes. I'm assuming that's probably about 1 to 2 more laps if you include overtime after this one to prove his time. He's coming to the end stretch of this lap. Let's see what he gets. Coming around the final turn. If he wants to get... he touches grass. That's going to slow him down quite a bit. If he wants his time he got before, he's going to have to speed up by, I believe, 1.5 seconds. And Let's see when that gets him. Doesn't look like it changed whatsoever. It's still 202.5. Take a look at Sauce. Sauce not going around. Oh, actually that's not, sorry. Sauce is over here. Henry, okay. Looks like ZZ1 is actually qualifying quite well compared to how he's done in the past. He's now in third place, just 0.04 seconds behind Pendry's time, which is very impressive. Part of me is thinking that these qualifying times are slightly off. I'm hoping that's incorrect. James Pendry coming down the back or front stretch. Pendry is now 0.3 seconds behind Sauce. An improvement, but not by much. That was about a 0.2 second improvement. Not nearly as fast as he was going in practice. Well, I'm not sure what happened there. I also accidentally just threw away our leaderboard. There it is. Alright. Sauce now has a 201.7, so he has improved by about 0.5 seconds. Pendry is now behind Sauce by 0.7 seconds. Still much slower than they were getting in practice, but not any times to be ashamed of at all. Still very impressive times. Off the track. Going back to pits. He's not going to have time to complete another lap, so it looks like he kind of just quit. He is in first place, so honestly, I wouldn't be upset with that. Not quite his best time in practice, like he had in practice, but still pretty good. It's really going to come down if Pendry is able to finish and beat Sauce's time, because we are still in overtime, so it is possible. I think, unless he just passed. In this case, it is. No. Okay, here we go. Was he fast enough? It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it. Alright. I'm ready to start in about 2 minutes now. So if you need a quick break to grab a snack, now's your chance. Pendry did improve his time by, it looks like, 0.2 seconds, but nothing substantial. So Sauce is still in first and Pendry is starting second. I was keeping an eye out for Dean's starting point, and it looks like he's going to be starting a little bit further down in 6th or 7th. My brother just very helpfully informed me that I just made one of those Gen Alpha jokes, the 6-7 one. I didn't even mean to do that. DJ asked if I provide the snacks. I do for the low price of $2. They're digital snacks.
You pay for shipping though.
Yeah, you had to pay for shipping. It's like an NFT but worse.
For the record, I don't condone the 6 or 7 meme. I do not condone the use of it.
We have our lineup here. The leaderboard is slightly off because it has not calibrated, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. If you want to donate so I can get a better leaderboard, donate. I'll get a better leaderboard. But until then, I don't make enough money for this. Alright, the lights are showing. And we are off with Sauce coming out early in first place. James Pendry close behind, coming in on the inside. I just got rid of my leaderboard again. Who needs those anyway? Alright, Sauce is in the lead with James Pendry close behind, trying to take the inside once again. He had to come across the entire width of the track to try to do that, so he's still stuck behind Sauce. They're going, it looks like, too wide in that corner. Sauce taking way over the apex. Not over the apex, but on the apex. Sauce is really gaining some distance on Pendry. It doesn't look like a lot, but trust me, with these drivers, that's a lot. Let's take a quick break and look at how Dean's doing over here in 8th place. Right behind Air-Cooled, Game Boy, and Rodan. Something I was not expecting is CJY, Drillin, and CJY and Drillin. I was not expecting them to be this far up. Looks like they may have been practicing since last time. I did something that I don't usually do. It's called practicing to get better. I don't really know what this whole getting better thing is. Oh, looks like Air-Cooled just spun out touching grass. I don't touch grass either. So that places Dean in 7th position. CJ West and Drillin still up there in 3rd and 4th, which is pretty impressive. Foreign to me, of course, because I don't have time. Dean looks like he broke out pretty late there. Let's revert back to Pendry. He is right on Sauce's tail with 0.09 seconds. 0.06 seconds. Is Pendry passing Sauce? But he passes on the outside. He's gonna cut him off. Is it gonna work? It did work. He was able to cut Sauce off and pass him on the outside. Really impressive. Sauce is now 0.4 seconds behind him. Probably not gonna let that slide. Get it? Slide. Hopefully he doesn't let that slide like he does on that one apex that one time. While they fight it out, let's go take a look at Rodan, who is 0.7 seconds away from CJY. I believe he can make this pass fairly easily. Rodan, I would say, is a better driver. Looks like he's taking the inside and taking it, taking 4th along the straightaway. putting him in fourth. Drillin still holding down third quite nicely. Sauce now getting even closer to Pendry, 0.3 seconds behind. Looks like they are still in the heavy midst of this. We can go down here for a moment, look at air-cooled. If you remember, air-cooled spun out. And he just made that pass on Gunner because Gunner went out and touched grass. Looks like Thomas Spangler and Gunner are now quite close to each other. It seems to be very reminiscent of last week when Gunner and air-cooled and Thomas Spangler were having a little bit of a battle between the three of them. We can see if this is going to be the same for this week. They are quite close to each other. All very, very close in skill, except Tom looks like he was getting kind of excited about being in the midst, and then he just kind of went off the track. It's okay, it happens to the best of us. And by best of us, it happens to me. That's what I meant. It happens to me. Looks like Game Boy had some issues as well going off the track, and Dean. A common theme. Dean's now put way back, and by way back I mean one position lower, in now 9th place, because Game Boy is able to pass. Dean is now side by side with Air-Cooled. Air-Cooled does have the inside. If you look in your bottom right, you see that they just interlock their wheels. That is exactly what you do not want to do in these cars. Going around a turn, interlocking wheels, is a recipe for disaster. It's like, if you ever seen those Beyblade things? I never got into them, but the idea is that they go and spin and they hit each other. I don't know why I'm explaining this. I'm pretty sure everybody here knows what a Beyblade is. Anyway, it's like two of those rotating at different speeds, moving not only side to side against one another, but also up and down, and then popping in and out, and then once it pops out, it'll end up going and hitting the wheel, and it's just horrible. Everything is bad. It shifts the car in the wrong way, and as you saw, Dean flipped around from that, and he ended up actually going in a head-on collision with Air-Cooled again. So that was all bad. Everything about that was terrible. I'm glad this is a game, because otherwise that could be issue-inducing. I'll say that. Sauce is still holding off fairly well, but he's parked in the grass. That seems to be a common theme with Sauce. I guess it's just part of what he does on this track. He is 1.3 seconds behind Pendry. 1.4 seconds. Looks like Pendry's actually gaining time, which is quite impressive because I don't think anybody has gained time on Sauce in a long time. Yeah, Beyblades mentioned. You know it's good when I relate open wheel racing to Beyblades. On a whim. On another note, Rodian's getting quite close to TJY, but he's drifting. You can't really drift these cars, as Rodan just found out. He's supposed to put him back in 6th place. Dean is quite far back now. Way back in 12th, but he is getting quite close to Air-Cooled. I think we need to get a replay on that, but I don't think we can actually... Let's see. Let's do a live replay and see if we can actually get that. Let's go to Dean. Yep, there was a bump there, sent Air-Cooled flying, and Dean, as a good, proper racer, is now pulling over and waiting for Air-Cooled. There he goes, and they are back at it. Okay, we're going to stop the replay and get back to the actual thing. Instant replay. Dean is now in 13th position. Not a good day for Dean. Whoa, while we were watching that replay, James Pendry somehow moved back to 3rd position, even behind Drillin. Drillin is doing an amazing job this time around. I don't think he's done this well in quite some time, but he's 5 seconds behind Sauce, which means Pendry is almost 6 seconds behind Sauce. This is going to be incredibly interesting watching Pendry try to hold off, or Drillin try to hold up Pendry. It looks like Pendry is now on the inside. He's taking the inside through the straight, and he's going to get 2nd position quite easily. Drillin rightfully did not want to go and fight that, because we just saw what happened when someone tried to fight that. And it's hard to do right. Drillin is now back in 3rd place. Still a podium, so I would not be upset. Looks like Moto moved up past Gunner. Dean is still back in 13th, 7 seconds behind Air. Not Dean's night. He has about 5.5 minutes to make up for that in race 1. A 13th position finish with how his championship has been going, or how his finishing positions have been going, is not going to do very good for his overall championship standing. It's going to be quite an outlier and really going to mess up his score there. Air-cooled is now getting not close. All that was a weird glitch. Okay. Gunner is getting pretty close to the back of Moto. As we know, Moto just passed Gunner, so this is Gunner trying to keep up and pass him back, but yeah. Looks like there's not too much opposition from anybody behind or in front, so Moto is not really trying to get ahead of anybody. You guys see the whole 10 seconds behind Game Boy, and Gunner's not really holding anybody off because Kirby's a whole 3 seconds behind him. Pendry is now a whopping 6.5 seconds behind Sauce. Looks like Sauce has finally gone away, and he doesn't have to deal with Pendry, at least for this race. I think Sauce is going to start naming his gray hairs James Pendry. Looks like Dean just passed Spangler, and he's now in 12th position. Actually coming up on Air. Let's see if he can make this pass better than he did last time. It would be quite easy to make this pass better than he did last time, because last time he didn't pass at all. Dean's really pushing on the inside there. If you look at your bottom right, you can see the aerial view. It's very helpful for seeing exact position. Kirby is getting up close to Gunner as well. Up here in 9th position. Back to Dean. Looks like Tom Spangler, Dean, and Air Cooled. 2 of the 3 Musketeers are here with Dean. That was a turn that Tom Spangler ran off of last time, and he successfully completed that turn, so yay Tom. Dean took a little bit of a wide route down that turn, I noticed, and that was a little bit strange. I'm not going to try to interpret that, because last time I tried to interpret was what Dean was thinking. It didn't work out well, and I was wrong, so I'm not going to do that anymore. Dean was able to pass Spangler, so now Dean is in 11th place. Still on the tail of Air, but after that, if he passes Air, he's probably going to get a confirmed 10th position, because he has 30 seconds to make up before getting up to Kirby, and he only has under 3 minutes now. It's not going to be enough. ZZ1 is getting really close to CJY, right on the tail. These are both rookies. They have just joined. Whoa, CJY looks like he probably touched grass. He just absolutely spun off of the track. And now ZZ1 is in 4th position, which is really, really good. Looks like Kirby just passed Gunner. Oh, but he popped on the apex, lost traction, and spun out. He doesn't have to worry about losing his 9th position, because Air is 31 seconds behind him. Kirby's probably back on track, and Gunner was able to keep his 8th position. Dean is still back in 11th. Sauce has 6 seconds on Pendry still. not Moto's night. Looks like he's an entire lap behind everybody else. I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but usually everyone here is a good sport, so that's good. Dean is now on the tail of air-cooled with 0.6 seconds. He has probably about it looks like 2 laps now to properly pass air. Is he going to be able to do it, or is it going to end in failure? Losing a little bit of time here. Now he's gaining it back on straightaway. 0.7 seconds. 0.65. Losing it. It's braking. One more lap left. Or, yeah, should just be one more lap left. Oh, air-cooled went off into the grass. That was not a bump this time. It was the same spot, but not a bump. We can look at an instant replay. He looks like he did not brake early enough, and he broke traction. And he's just off the track. Back to the race. We are in the final lap. Dean is now in 10th position, doing quite well with 6 seconds in between him and air, and looks like he is, actually doesn't say how far he is behind Gunner. We are in the final lap. Foss is way up ahead of everybody else. Keep in mind, after this race, we have one more race with an inverted grid. Looks like Gunner is getting on the tail of Kirby, but he's probably not going to have enough time to actually pass him, because he just lost a bunch of time. He's now almost 3 seconds behind Kirby. We have some significant breaks in the cars here. Gunner looks like he just was able to save it, so he is not going to be able to pass Kirby this race. We have some significant breaks here, which is quite surprising. Toss is up here coming in first position. We have a wonderful view from the GPSimsports news fan. Sauce comes in first. Pendry close behind in second. Drillin came home with third place. Very impressive. Looks like a slight crash at the end, in celebration, of course. ZZ won in fourth. Amazing job. You don't usually see someone new get a place like that. Rodan coming in fifth. Very good, Rodan. CJY coming in sixth place. Very good. Some excellent finishing places for these newer drivers, at least to our series. We now have a very large break of about, I don't know, probably 13 seconds now before Game Boy gets here. There's Game Boy in 7th place. And 15 seconds later, here's Mike Kirby in 8th place. He was able to keep off Gunner. Speaking of Gunner, Gunner should be here right about now in 9th place. Dean's going to be not so close behind with about 10 seconds to spare, coming in 10th. Keep in mind that may not be impressive, but I believe there was about a 30-second difference, and he brought it down to 10. So Dean's in 10th. At least it's not 13th, okay? Air's going to be About 10 seconds now. There's air cooled. Air cooled coming 11th. The Spangler in 12th. Was that 12th? Was that the last second pass? Here's Spangler and air cooled coming around the last bend. Let's see. This is an instant replay. No, it was not. Okay. Always love the crashes in good spirit. Moto is, I believe, out of this race. We are now in the waiting period for a second race. Hopefully you enjoyed race number 1. I am really loving the detail on this track, by the way, with the waving flags and the cheering. It's very immersive. I love it. Now's your chance to go run and grab some water like I'm going to do right now. And we are on the grid. Tom Spangler starting first place. That's why I love these reverse grids. There's Spangler. Alright. Let's see if I can do this quickly enough. And they are off. Tom Spangler starting first and air cooled in second. I don't like that actually, never mind. Keep it like that, alright. Tom is still holding off first quite nicely with air cooled. Wait, no. Looks like there's actually some switching. What's going on? The leaderboard is messed up. My brain is messed up. Tom Spangler looks like he's in 4th right now. But oh no, okay. Race Brick is not in first. Looks like Air Cooled is in first, and there was just a little issue, a little bit of a glitch. So right now, Air Cooled is in first, Dean is in second, Rodan in 4th, Drill in the 5th. Spangler has fallen to 6th place. Oh, and a bump there. Looks like Spangler is okay, but Game Boy is not. Spangler is now in 7th position. Oh, how the greats have fallen. Let's see. Sauce is right now in 9th, right behind Pendry, who is in 8th. Tom Spangler are off the track. Not a good day for Spangler. At least not a good race for Spangler. He's now way back in 10th position. Oh, I saw that coming. I would do instant replay, but it looks like I don't think we're going to have time. There's going to be too much. Air Cooled has flipped. I think that deserves instant replay, actually. It's just, it's that interesting. Alright, let's see. Where is he? Where's Air Cooled? believe something. Oh, there we go. Right up against, and he just flips. All right, that's gruesome. That's gruesome. All right, Dean is right now in first position. If he can hold that off, he's really gonna be able to counteract his 10th position finish last race. But Drillin is close behind, and we know that Drillin is fairly serious. His only opposition last race was Sauce and Pendry. But we did not get to see Dean and Drillin race side by side. So let's see how this turns out. Drillin is now 0.2 seconds behind Dean. Whoa, some lag on my part. Looks like some internet issues for me. We're just, there's a reason we call it GPSimsports. The question we ask is, how big is your ping? And I answer it here on stream. The answer is a lot. Dean is still in first, Drillin close behind, but close behind him is ZZ1 in third place. Very impressive for ZZ1. He's doing an amazing job in these cars. Looks like he's been practicing pretty hardly on this track. We actually made a last-minute track change because of an issue the other track had. But ZZ1 is like right on the tail of Drillin. He is almost copying every single exact movement. He's making his car almost a perfect, okay, not anymore, but he was making his car almost a perfect extension of Drillin's. That was very impressive. Drillin is almost, is he going to be able to pass on the inside? They are side by side, almost interlocked wheels there. They are on the straightaway. They're not quite side by side, but looks like he's gaining, but he is on the outside of this next turn. Dean broke a little bit earlier. Drillin is now in front, but he's on the outside. Looks like Drillin's actually going to be able to take this with ZZ1 coming in close behind. Dean is now in third place. Looks like Dean broke a little bit too much, a little bit too early, but he is now on the inside. He wasn't able to really get underneath the ZZ1 there. Looks like Dean is having more trouble from the back, but Sauce, not what you really want. Sauce is now in the inside, on the outside of the next turn, but really just passing with ease. James Pendry. Oh no! Looks like Sauce actually popped over on the grass and spun right in front of Dean. Dean T-boned him, but it ended up correcting Sauce's path. Dean did not get the good end of that deal. He is now in 5th position. It's not 10th, but it's not that good. And it's really not Dean's fault. He broke a little bit too early there, and he had possibly the worst two people to be behind him. Dean now has 2.4 seconds to catch up with Sauce, but Sauce is most likely going to, along with Pendry, pass both ZZ1 and Drillin. But right now, ZZ1 is right on the tail of Drillin, making himself a very good extension. Wow, Pendry just spun out. Good news for Dean. Looks like Pendry and Sauce are kind of happy on this spinning out. ZZ1 is now slightly diverting his line from Drillin. Looks like he's trying to just get underneath him. ZZ1 is now losing just a little bit of time there. Sauce is now 5 seconds behind ZZ1. Did not expect to see that. And Dean is 2.5 behind Sauce. But as Sauce gains, I'm sure Dean will also gain. But Pendry is 6 seconds behind Dean, so Dean doesn't have to worry about him for quite some time. ZZ1 is really wanting first position, which is so impressive that he's actually in second. Able to get first. It's within arm's reach, and he's right there. That's so impressive for someone who, I think he joined this season. That's incredible. That is incredible. I know in the past few races, ZZ1 has not done so good. He's been probably around Kirby's level, but somehow he is way up here along with CJY last race, but right now CZ1 is in second place. I can't get over that. That's really impressive. That's what most people who are just joining will dream of, just being in second place. Keeping up with first position with no opposition from behind. It must be an incredible feeling. So, however, Sauce is gaining. He's gained about 2 seconds. He's 4 seconds behind now, and Dean is 4.7 behind Sauce. A little squirrely there from Drillin. If we remember, Drillin was having some issues with squirreliness. Like that. I wonder if he's on controller. I doubt it, because controller is incredibly hard in Assetto Corsa. But it would explain the squirreliness of it. ZZ1 is now an entire second behind Drillin. However, Sauce is catching up. He's 3.5 seconds behind ZZ1. Dean is losing just a little bit. He's now 6 seconds behind Sauce. Pendry is slightly gaining on Dean with 3.6 seconds. However, Dean is in fourth, so he is eligible, with proper skill and execution of that skill, of course, to get into the podium. Kirby is 0.4 seconds behind Spangler. He's trying to come around the outside. Let's see how Kirby does. Is he going to be able to pass Tom? He is right now on the straightaway. He actually lost a little bit of time there. Oh, alright. I don't know exactly what happened there. It kind of looked like Kirby was just going alongside and he started sliding along with Spangler, and they both kind of slid into each other. I'd say they both kind of equally slowed each other down, no harm, no foul. Kind of funny. Kind of reminds me of those big balloons, those blimps, sorry. I kind of wrecked my brain for a second. Kind of reminded me of blimps moving. It was very smooth and methodical, but not very productive. Hendry is now really close to Dean. He's coming in right behind him, gaining very quickly, and Dean is an entire 10 seconds behind Sauce. However, that is still only about 12 seconds behind ZZ1. James Hendry is now passed on the inside. The crowd goes wild. Pendry is now in front of Dean by quite a bit. I don't expect Dean to be able to pass Pendry. I, however, do expect that Sauce and Pendry are going to be able to catch up. Maybe even pass ZZ1 and Drillin. Whoa, Pendry touched grass. He is way off. Looks like Pendry disconnected. That was Pendry's ping, not mine. Looks like Dean was in luck. He keeps his fourth position. And he is an entire, looks like 13 seconds behind ZZ1. Well, good luck for Dean. He is now still eligible for podium. It's going to be difficult, but it is possible that this little battle that ZZ1, Drillin, and Sauce are going to have results in somebody spinning out or just slowing each other down to where Dean is able to pass. Dean does have an entire 13 seconds to catch up to Sauce, though. Well, that sounds like a lot. Keep in mind, Sauce has almost nothing in between him and ZZ1 now. But ZZ1 is still consistently right on the tail of Drillin, really pushing him. It's one thing to be able to be in second and really put pressure on the driver, but when you've been in second and putting pressure on first place consistently within a 1 second margin the entire race, I mean, it's been 12 minutes now, and he's just been doing the same thing. That's impressive. He's been putting consistent pressure on Drillin. Looks like Drillin's getting kind of comfortable with it, which could be good for Season 1, but he's just been staying there. He's been just pushing on, consistently putting the pressure on, just waiting for the right time. My question is that right time going to come? And is it going to come with Sauce getting right now on ZZ1's tail? Because although ZZ1 is great at driver, Sauce is better. And, oh no, he felt the pressure of Sauce. That is not what I wanted to happen. Alright, he felt Sauce on his tail, and that's something he didn't have to deal with the entire past race, is that he didn't have anybody on his tail pressuring him. So that's something he was not getting used to, but now he had somebody on his tail really pressuring him, and that just kind of resulted in him spinning out. So that's not happy. He pushed that corner a little bit tighter. He pushed that corner a little bit tighter than he would have liked, a little bit harder than he would have liked, and that really just sent him into the grass a little bit there, and it's not good for these cars' grip at all. It probably would have worked with another car, but not like this. So now ZZ1 is an entire 8 seconds behind Sauce. For some reason, Dean is still 8 seconds behind ZZ1. So it's possible now that Dean will get podium. I do feel bad for ZZ1 though, because he really could have passed Rillin in the next minute here. They have one more lap left, looks like. So anything is possible. Sauce is now on Drillin's tail. Drillin is over in the grass. Whoa, I'm not sure what happened there. That looked like lag. Sauce is now in first place. What happened to Drillin? Everybody has Sauce behind them is getting so worried and so pressured that they just spin out. Drillin is now in third place as ZZ1 back in second. Dean is really pushing, passing on the outside. Whoa, that was close. Drillin stayed to his line, and Dean was able to just weave around, and that was very impressive. Dean's now in third place. If he can hold this off, he's going to get podium. Rodian is right behind, putting pressure on Drillin. Man, I did not expect the podium of top 5 to mess, or just to mix up this much. We have one lap left. Wow, this is incredible. I don't know. I'm going to start calling this the Sauce effect. Everybody that gets in front of Sauce, or everyone that has Sauce on right on their behind, is they just spin out. They give up. It's a Sauce effect. Well, this has been really good for Dean, because now Dean is in a podium spot, but Drillin is right behind him. Right now, Rodan and Drillin are both battling heavily for getting Dean, but Drillin was tapped and they both spun out. I feel like I saw this last race with both Rodan and Drillin. I think I saw the same thing. That's really good news for Dean, because now Dean has a good cushion of 8 seconds behind and 11 seconds in front. Looks like he's really has third place down. Looks like he's going to get that with no issues. CJY is now really close to Drillin though, and Game Boy is really close to him. This is going to be an incredible finish between these three. I'm going to keep focused on these three this entire rush to this race, because this is exciting. This has been probably the most exciting race of this series. We are now getting onto the final stretch. Sauce undoubtedly has first. It was ZZ1 second and Dean third. But what's going to happen with these three? Game Boy spun, not spun, but he just slid just a little bit there. Sauce finishes first. ZZ1 gets second. These three are rounding the final corner. Game Boy is really speeding, and he pushes out that corner farther than he needs to, and he is probably out of the race between these two. It's really between Drillin and CJY. Is CJY going to be able to push himself through this next? He is not. Looks like a slightly uneventful ending between these three, with CJY 4th, Drillin 5th, and Game Boy 6th. Rodan 7th. And it looks like Gunner is coming in 8th, but Kirby is right behind him. And by right behind, he looks like he slowed down a little bit that last corner, so I was kind of hopeful for a little bit of more excitement there, but I would guess I got let down by getting used to the abnormality we just saw with those three. Some very impressive racing today. I could spend a whole bunch of time reanalyzing it all and watching the whole thing over again, but I don't have enough time for that, and I doubt you guys do. Very good race today overall. Hopefully this time I'll be able to upload the final confirmed results tonight. You can watch a little bit of Game Boy's donuts. This is like kind of like his thing. Overall, I say good job to every racer we saw today. Some unexpected good finishes, some unexpected bad finishes, some unexpected last-minute battles, lots of excitement. Overall, so far, Race 4 has been my favorite of the series. But this has been GPSimsports News.